So, today we're going to be talking about signs that a girl likes you. Now, these are going to be things, some of these are very, very obvious, and some of these are a little less obvious, and that is why I want to talk about in today's video. If there's any specific one that you think should have gone somewhere else, feel free to let me know, but I'm going to give you the list of the things in which I think are signs that a girl likes you, and I'm going to give you a definition. The definition for today is going to be choosing signals. This is what I personally call them. These are going to be the subtle signs that a woman gives that are going to suggest that she does like you. And I'll break it down for you today. So for the first one, we're going to start right over. We're going to start right. We're going to start right here, right? Now this is going to be one that I think is probably one of the most misinterpreted signs that a girl likes you. Maybe a lot of guys will go in to the interaction or they will go up to the woman and they will try to make a conversation because they had made eye contact like one time, right? And now I would say, and this is what I will say later, it definitely is going to depend on the amount of eye contact that a woman gives you that is going to really show you that she truly actually likes you. So this one's just going to be eye contact, but not necessarily an excessive amount of eye contact. I'm going to put that in the she might be interested category because, quite frankly, she might just be interested. It might mean that she's interested in you, but it might also mean that she's just looking around in her environment. Which, if it's less than two times, odds is she probably might be interested in you, but there's the off chance that she's just looking around in her environment. And yeah, I would say this is definitely one that is definitely mistaken way too often of as a sign of interest, and people really overly look into this specific one, and it's something that I would say there's a lot of nuance when it comes to eye contact. So there's a lot of situational things that need to be adjusted and thought of and acknowledged before you can say this is a sign that she likes you or not. This next one is going to be she's a frequent texter. This is going to be an obvious one, fellas. If she's a frequent texter, then of course she's going to be actually interested in you, right? I feel like there's this notion when men deal with women that they're like, oh, she's not texting me back fast. She's not texting me back that often. And 100% that is a sign of interest, right? That, or rather, a sign of disinterest. I feel like there's too many people that they kind of have this, I don't even know. It's almost like a delusional reality when it comes to why a woman's not texting them back as much or as often or as whatever. And I feel like if you understand women to any extent, they're on their phone more than men. Most of them, I'm gonna say, probably 90% of women are on their phone more than most men. And with that being said, if she's not on, you shouldn't believe the notion that she's not on her phone. She's most definitely on her phone. The question is, why isn't she actually texting you? And the answer is because she's probably not that interested. But in this case, if she's genuinely taking the time out of her day to just try to get back to you, and she's doing it very, very often, she's actually interested in you, right? I feel like people try to give the woman an excuse of oh, maybe she's busy right now. Dude, most women are not busy. Let's be for real here. Of course, I'm not saying that women don't have busy lives, but quite frankly, most of them don't. Most of them are very, very much distracted. Most of them are very much on their phone all the time. So if a woman tries to give you this, if you know this type of woman and she tries to give you the runaround, well, I'm just busy, this and this and this, she's probably not interested, brother. So move on from there. Next one, this is going to be she's interested in the things that you're interested in, right? I'm gonna put this one right over here. So this is going to be women who recognize that you have certain interests and they will try to go deep into those topics themselves. This is she's actually interested, right? Um, and let me give you a little bit of breakdown with these right here. This is she's folded. This basically means um she's ultra interested in you. I'm gonna say that ultra interested. She's actually interested. That is basically a good sign. She might be interested. This is one that's a little bit um she might be interested. As simple as that. And then inconclusive is where you can't you just don't know. You just don't know. It could be something, could be nothing. So I'll get back into it. So yes, She's interested in the things that you're interested in. I've dealt with plenty of women where, let's just say I say I'm interested in one thing, and all of a sudden you can see them paying a little bit more attention to that specific thing that I said I was interested in. And this is something that definitely at times can be mistaken for other things, but quite frankly, if she's interested in the things that you're interested in, it's just going to be so much easier for you guys to get along, and women know that. So therefore, they will go ahead and cater cater their interaction and curate your interaction just for that. And not all women are going to do this, and I would say not even all women that are interested in you are going to do this, but the ones that truly do it are really going out of their way. And quite frankly, she's definitely very interested for sure. This next one is going to be a very, very good one as well. And it's also going to go in the same category. This is going to be a woman who's asking a lot of questions, a very, very curious woman. That's why I have a person that looks like they're thinking, right? Women that ask a lot of questions are very far and few between. And that's something that you must understand very, very thoroughly. So with that being said, if she's asking a lot of questions, that means she wants to get to know you a little bit more. I would say she's actually interested. It's very, very rare that a woman is going to ask you a lot of questions and is truly not going to be interested in you. And I have only came across maybe like one, no, I'd say probably like two or three women who were genuinely asking me a lot more questions compared to the other women that I've talked to. And their interactions with those women have went so much better just because they were genuinely interested to the point of asking questions. And of course, I've had plenty of women who've also I've dated and who've liked me who don't ask that many questions. But I would say personally, it's definitely going to stand out. And yeah, she's just going to want to know more about you. And that's, of course, that means she's interested in you. And of course, that's a good sign for sure. Me personally, I like to ask a lot of questions. So when I come across a person that also likes to ask a lot of questions, the conversations are definitely very good. And you can also definitely tell, and I can't really do the inverse of this, but I'll give you the inverse, right? If she's not asking that many questions, that would be inconclusive, right? That'd be the inconclusive where you don't necessarily know if she's not interested in you. I know a lot of women really, really lack social skills when it comes to communication, so they won't ask them any questions. Maybe they'll be interested, but they're not bold enough to ask. So therefore, some women that do like you are going to be lacking the ability to ask questions or lacking the communication skills to ask questions. And some of those women obviously are just not going to be interested in you at all, which I would say more often than not, they're probably not going to be interested, but that's just what it is. This next one is going to be she's folded, right? This is going to be frequent eye contact, right? This is much different than the one that I had mentioned earlier with just eye contact in general, right? If it happens once or twice, if it happens three, four, five, six times, she's definitely folded, and that means you need to go up there and you need to say something for yourself, right? This is going to be one that I've seen all too often, right? And it's definitely going to be on it's definitely going to be for certain situations, but for the most part, you're not going to look at or constantly keep looking at people that you're not interested in or that you're not attracted to. So when a woman is constantly looking at you, and yeah, when she's constantly looking at you, it's going to be a very, very telltale sign that she's definitely more than interested in you, right? Like I said, she's folded, right? That's that's just what it is. I've seen it time and time again, whether I'm at the club, whether I'm at the gym. If I see a woman looking more than three or four times, I obviously know that that's going to be a situation that if I was a single man that I could take advantage of course. So this is definitely going to be one that is it needs to be somewhat obvious. It needs to be obvious, and some women will make it very, very obvious, right? And like I said, if she's going to be looking at you once or twice, maybe she is interested, but like I said, she might be, but she might not be as well. So yes, if you're looking for certain choosing signals, I would most definitely say this is probably going to be one of the most powerful ones that you will clearly see, and something that you should be paying attention to, and you should be trying to make eye contact with women on a consistent basis. Because if you're not, you're kind of shying away from what I believe to be one of the biggest subtleties of interest. So yeah, pay attention, be alert, be on the lookout, be constantly looking and engaging with women in that specific way. But don't do it like a creep, because obviously, like I said, I have to give that because there's men that will just say, oh, she looked at me 5 times, but you've been staring at her for the last 3 hours straight, right? So yeah, it's gonna come with some nuance, of course. Getting into the next one, this is going to be overly friendly behavior, going out of the way to do or to give something to you. This is going to be she's folded. I've had plenty of women where they've gifted me things, or they were overly friendly to the point where it kind of goes hand in hand with asking questions and things like that. It just made the interaction so much easier, right? Or maybe it was even a work scenario, right? Let's just say a work scenario, well, where I said something and she had paid attention and she had gotten me something, right? That is going to be another telltale sign of interest, right? Right. When she's going out of the way to be overly friendly or to do something a little bit over the top that you wouldn't necessarily do for just a normal person. So that is going to be a pretty obvious one, I'd say. It's definitely going to happen not as often. But when it does happen, you can most definitely believe that she's way more than interested in you, and she's probably tried to express it. And what I will say though, depending on the situation, right? If it's a situation where you're consistently talking to this person, this one's going to be different. If it's going to be an interaction where you haven't necessarily, introduced yourself, then this one's going to be the one that I think is going to rule more for sure. And if there's any that you believe that should have been on here, that are subtle signs that a woman is interested in you, I definitely will look at them in the comments if you were to leave it in the comments for sure. But getting into the next one, this is going to be fixing her hair or adjusting her body or adjusting, let's just say, yeah, just adjusting herself. I'm gonna say this one is going to be she might be interested. I've seen it time and time again where I'll go up to a woman and maybe she'll be a little bit more self-conscious, so therefore she will mess with her hair. She'll make sure it's the way that she wants it to look, or maybe she'll adjust her shirt or her pants or whatever, right? And this is going to be one that isn't necessarily going to be the most conclusive sign that she's interested in you, but more often than not, I'd say it's definitely going to be a sign that she might genuinely be interested in you. Because if you're just a normal person, like let's just say you were to go up to somebody and a girl were to come up to you and she's not attractive at all, you're not going to you're not going to be more self-conscious about yourself. You're going to be more you're gonna be more calm. You're going to be more confident, right? If an attractive woman comes up and up to you, you might be a little bit more feeling. I'm not gonna say anxious, but you'll feel excited in a way where you might start adjusting yourself to make sure you look as good as you possibly can, right? Just with women, if she doesn't care about you at all, she's not gonna do anything. She's gonna be damn near emotionless. She's going to be just very, very, let's just say, she's going to be very, very stoic with you, right? But if she's going out of her way to adjust her hair or to make sure that her shirt's on right or her pants are on right, whatever, right? Or like I said, maybe she's adjusting a thing in her hair or something like that, right? That's going to be definitely a sign that she might be interested. And of course, if you see a girl and she's messing with her hair and she's not looking at anybody, that doesn't mean she's interested in you. That means she's just fixing her hair. But this is going to go, and this is going to go when it means this is going to go as far as when you go up to a woman, right? And I would say some of these are going to be for those situations, and some of these are going to be also for the situations where you've known them for a decent amount of time, right? And maybe they're just like either like a friend of a friend, or let's just say maybe a coworker or something like that. Getting into the next one, this is also going to be one that I'd say is something that is so odd, but I see it all too often for it to not be real, right? This is going to be strategic positioning in the line of sight. So this could be like repositioning yourself to a new location or odd walking patterns, right? So this is going to be one that she's most definitely folded, right? This is going to be I'll give you an example of one, and Anthony's in the chat, so he'll be able to let you know, right? I've had it where I've noticed this girl had consistently looked at me in the gym, right? And when she was looking at me, I could tell that whenever I moved to a certain place in the gym, she had followed or she had walked or she had set up her next workout to be near the area, right? And then I was like, okay, I see her do it one or two times, cool, whatever. That's just what it is. And then I seen that she had walked in front of me. And like I said, when I say odd walking patterns, doing things that don't necessarily make any sense at all, she had walked away from me, right? Or not away from me. She had walked in front of me. She had looked over at me, continued walking, and then the place that she had went to was like this outdoor workout area. She was out there for 15 seconds and then walked back and did the same thing over again. She walked in front of me, looked at me, and then continued walking, right? If that isn't the most obvious, blatant sign that someone is really going out of their way to do something, as far as having an odd walking pattern or repositioning herself strategically to be in my line of sight, that I don't know what is. Because quite frankly, those certain situations, she's definitely folded. She most definitely folded. She's definitely interested in you. She's definitely going out of her way. She's definitely showing you more than one sign. And like some of these things you can't make them up, right? And if you've never experienced this, just pay a little bit more attention, be a little bit more observant, and maybe you will see it as well. But getting into the next one, and this is going to be the last one. This is going to be. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Body language. This is going to be open palm body language, and this is going to be one that's going to be a little bit harder to read, and this is something that you're going to need to read yourself. But I'm going to put this one. She's actually interested in you, right? So body language. This is going to be something that I can't necessarily always be the most conclusive, but at the same time, I'd say more often than not, if she's giving you open body language, she's definitely very, very comfortable with you, and that is going to be something that is very, very good. Um, and yeah, you can't necessarily fake this. If she's uncomfortable, if she's crossing her arms, or if she's maybe facing away from you and talking to you, then obviously she's probably not that interested in you. But if she's open, if she's looking directly at you, making eye contact with you, right, that body language that I had talked about, then that's going to be a very, very obvious sign that she's actually interested in you, right? And I'm not going to be able to name all of these choosing signals that I had mentioned, right, or signs that a girl is interested in you. But if there's any specifically that you think that I missed, feel free to leave it in the comments. But that's all I have to say for today. These were the signs, or the choosing signals, what I like to call them, that a girl is interested in you. If you like what I have to say, tap in with the most recent podcast that I did talking about. I did. What did I do? I did it on nonverbal communication. One of the most interesting topics that I'm very, very interested in right now. So if you want to know a little bit more of some of these things, and I'm gonna be making a future podcast on Thursday, this Thursday, talking about nonverbal communication when it comes to women specifically. So tap in with that for sure. But other than that, you guys have a good rest of your day and into the next video on Thursday.